Season 2 of The Last of Us has reached its midpoint and there's no sign of a slowdown, although last week was a bit of a slowdown. Episode 4 accelerates the action following the somber tone of the path as Ellie and Dina navigate Seattle trying to find their footing. This episode is packed with significant moments from the game all within an hour, while also delving deeper into the lore of a post-apocalyptic Seattle, and I must say, it's an exhilarating experience from beginning to end. But before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like and comment on the video, and if you're able, please sign up for channel memberships for exclusive content, which really helps us out. Anyway, let's get back to Seattle. So, the episode kicks off by showcasing the cycle of violence that has become a hallmark of the city. In a flashback, we're introduced to Isaac, a Fedra officer who betrays his team to align with what seems to be a rebel faction. Fast forward to the present, and Isaac has risen to become a leader of the WLF, interrogating a Seraphite or Scar captured during a clash between the two factions. Reintroducing Jeffrey Wright to reprise his role from the game is a brilliant decision by the show, much like bringing back Merle Dandridge as Marlene in Season 1. Even in his limited screen time, we catch glimpses of Isaac's complex nature that we didn't fully explore in The Last of Us Part 2. In one scene, he sacrifices nearly all of his Fedra soldiers to demonstrate his loyalty to the rebels, and in another, he philosophizes about his preferred method of torture. Following the brutal attack on the Seraphites that Dina and Ellie witnessed in last week's episode, it's tempting to label Isaac as the antagonist, and the series doesn't shy away from this perspective so far. However, this episode also emphasizes that in this world, the lines between heroes and villains are blurred. Everyone is simply striving to survive and protect their loved ones. A Seraphite prisoner claims that the WLF violated a long-standing truce, while Isaac insists that it was the Seraphites who broke it, leading to an ongoing cycle of violence between the two factions. As Dina and Ellie navigate this conflict in their quest for Abby and the Wolves, their journey becomes increasingly dangerous. While exploring an old television station that the WLF has taken over, they discover that the Seraphites have brutally murdered several wolves there. Shortly after, a WLF response team arrives, forcing Dina and Ellie to fight their way to safety. The chemistry between Dina and Ellie has been a standout feature of this season, and episode 4 further enriches that bond. Before they find themselves fleeing from the wolves and infected, the duo take refuge in a deserted music store. Ellie picks up a guitar and begins to play Take On Me by a-ha, while Dina listens with affection. This moment is significant in The Last of Us Part 2, as it provides Dina and Ellie with a rare peaceful interlude amid the turmoil they face in Seattle, and it highlights Ellie's grief and her attempt to reconnect with her memories of Joel through music. Also, this song resonates with Ellie's past with Riley and their final fight at the mall. Ultimately, it serves as a poignant reminder of Ellie's gentler side, which she has seldom revealed to others. This poignant scene heightens the tension as Dina and Ellie find themselves fleeing from the WLF and a swarm of infected later in the episode. In a sequence that closely mirrors the game, they navigate through an abandoned subway tunnel. The WLF soldiers, believing the area to be secure, are caught off guard by an attack from the infected. Seizing the opportunity, Dina and Ellie attempt to escape, but they face several near misses as they dash through and over subway cars towards safety. This moment stands out as one of the most terrifying in the series, amplified by the haunting red glow of the WLF's flares and the cramped space of the subway cars. Even someone who's familiar with the storyline of The Last of Us Part 2, I found it hard to breathe until Dina and Ellie finally made it past the turnstiles. However, the suspense doesn't fully dissipate. While escaping, they become trapped in the turnstiles, with Dina almost getting bitten. In a protective instinct, Ellie thrusts her arm in front of Dina, taking the bite herself on the same arm where she received her first bite, which feels significant. After finding refuge in an old theater, Dina aims her gun at Ellie, fearing she might turn. Ellie reassures her that she would sacrifice herself for Dina without hesitation, but that's not her intention. She reveals her immunity and begs Dina for a night to demonstrate that she won't succumb to infection. I was hopeful that Dina pressed Ellie on this a bit more, but it was more like, "Trust me, bro," and Dina was satisfied. Anyway, once Dina understands that Ellie is sincere, she confesses her own secret. She's pregnant. Overwhelmed by the emotions of the moment and likely feeling a wave of relief, Dina and Ellie share a kiss, deepening their bond. The following morning, Dina opens up about her bisexuality and the struggle she faced due to her mother's disapproval, which has made it difficult for her to embrace the aspects of herself even after her mother's passing. After Dina's heartfelt confession, their daydreams are quickly disrupted by the chatter from the WLF radio that Dina took from the TV station. They hear Nora's name and decide that the hospital where she's stationed will be their next target. This episode is gradually yet powerfully escalating the stakes of Dina and Ellie's mission. The conflict between the Seraphites and the WLF complicates their pursuit of Abby and her group. Dina's pregnancy gives them both a future to fight for, but it also introduces new worries. They may have a new target, but their quest for revenge is far from straightforward.